Hi, thank you for attending this session about web integration with Qlik Sense. Today we're gonna do it a bit different. I've used the APIs here to create a presentation on the fly using the Qlik Sense engine. I call this a slide generator. As you can see, I'm going to a web page called integration.qlik.com that's publicly available for you guys to use. Here I make my selection, and here you can see the first integration of today. I embedded a Qlik Sense sheet. This is a getting started course, so I select getting started, but please go to basic or expert if you're more familiar with IFrame, div-tag integration, etc. Today I select getting started. We have the following areas to talk about. For now I select a 2-hour workshop about web integration. And I start the presentation. As you can see, we now connected to the Qlik Sense engine and we receive the data and we create PowerPoint slides out of it. Or not really PowerPoint, but you get the idea. So, let's start with the real workshop. If you look at integration, what kind of people can use your app? Because as you know, Qlik Sense is a web server, so if you install Qlik Sense, both your employees, your customers and suppliers can all use the same app for their analysis. The key technologies Qlik Sense uses are HTML5, JavaScript, CSS and Angular. What kind of things can we embed into your web page? If you like, you can embed our hub, you can embed sheets, you can embed individual objects, or you can just use the data out of Qlik Sense. As we demonstrate here, you can embed a sheet, or you can leave out our menu. So let's say this is a Qlik Sense client as a whole, but if you like, you can only embed the Qlik Sense sheet and don't embed our menus. We will look at that later on. On integration.qlik.com, we show you multiple embedding options, where you can embed the hub, a sheet, single objects, or you can just use the data. Let's have a look. Here we embedded the Qlik Sense hub. On the left you'll see the multiple options we have to embed. We can embed using IFrame, div, or you can use some JavaScript magic to get the data inside your app. Let's start simple. Let's suppose this is your website. On the left you will see a menu bar in your website. On the right you can see what an embedded Qlik Sense can look like. This is called our client. This is Qlik Sense Enterprise. So you see our menus, streams and apps. So this is really our client with our menus. Today I'm going to show you that you can embed Qlik Sense as a whole, like we did here. Or maybe you only would like to embed a single sheet into your website. That's what we did here. Again, you have our menus. This is called this is what I call the gray bar. Maybe bookmarks, sheet navigation, etc. What I'm trying to explain you here is that you can choose the level of web integration which you like. You can embed a hub, or like we did here, you can embed a single sheet, embed our selection menu, or not. If you like, you can also embed individual objects like we did here. And the cool stuff is that it's always fully interactive. Here we embedded 3 individual charts using an iframe. Please note that if you like to have more technical information about how we did it, you will have it here in the left corner. Next to embedding using an iframe, you also have the option to embed using a div tag. Like we did here. This is enough for now. Later on we're going to look at the more deep dive stuff. So, as I said before, the integration.qlik.com website, including the slide generator, is publicly available for you to use. So, you can always watch the video whenever you like. I'm not going to do that today, but all the videos are online on YouTube. And there we explain, for example, more about the differences between Qlik Sense Enterprise and the QAP. So, let's do a more deep dive on what we mean with iframe, div tag, or on-the-fly web integration. Let's start with iframe. Using an iframe, you can embed one web page into another web page. It has nothing to do with Qlik Sense, but Qlik Sense can make use of that technology to embed a single chart, the hub, or a sheet. Let's have a look at the examples again. So this is iframe integration, the hub, a sheet, or individual charts. You can embed these using the App Integration API, and you can use the dev hub to create the iframe for you. I'll show that later on. Next to iframes, you can also use div tags to embed Qlik Sense. Div tags are basically placeholders in your HTML to embed a single object. So 1, 2, 3, 4 div tags that contain a Qlik Sense chart, for example. Let's have a look. Again, let's say this is your menu of your website, and here we embedded Qlik Sense. These charts are individual div tags, and of course they are fully interactive. I can make selections, and the charts update. Here I embedded the selection bar as a separate div, and these are 4 different divs. But because this is my web page, I have full control over all the objects. For example, I can create my own drag and drop. As you see, I did not include the gray menu bar over here. Let's go back. Here I embedded the sheet using iframe, and here you can see the Qlik Sense menu options over here. Let's say I don't like that. So now I'm going to show you using div tags. You can just choose the things you like out of Qlik Sense and embed it into your web page. If you'd like to see more about how we did it, please click on Technical Information, and here, for example, we use the Mashup API to create this page. And here you find a link to the Qlik Sense help. Also on this page, we explain how you can make selections. For example, let's say this is your menu bar in your website, and if you select Germany in your menu, you can forward the selection to Qlik Sense, for example, via the Selection API. If you like, you can also go to our JS Fiddle, where you have a full working test environment. So this is the HTML, JavaScript, CSS and the end result. So in the HTML we created two placeholders where we would like to get our Qlik Sense charts. We connect to Qlik Sense using a config object. We connect to the Qlik Sense host. We make a connection to the app on a specific app ID. And for each placeholder we inject the Qlik Sense chart ID. And you don't need to create this code yourself. The Qlik Sense Dev Hub will generate it for you. This is the end result. This is CSS. CSS controls the, for example, the width or the height of the page. So maybe I want to make it bigger. And now I have a bigger div. And the cool thing is that Qlik Sense is generated client side. So it always looks nice. So depending on the size of your div, Qlik Sense will populate the screen automatically. So let's say if I make it very small, you will only see the bars and it leaves out the labels and it truncates the title. Okay, so far div-tag integration. So how did we create the code? Well, you can use the Dev Hub for it. The Qlik Sense Dev Hub is a website that's part of Qlik Sense Enterprise. Here you can see it. So in the Dev Hub you have options to help you create code for you. So here you can create code for the single configurator. And the single configurator creates iframes. Let's select our app. So here I show how you can embed a complete sheet. We now disabled the interactivity with the sheet, so let's have a look. Here you can see we embedded the page and you can't click on it, so it's really static. And this is the URL that has been created. So at the end you can see you can add options to clear the selections or to disable the interactivity. If you like, you can include a selection bar. And you can enable interactivity. So if we now have a look again, you can see the end result. We can make selections as you're used to with Qlik Sense. Okay, so here we embedded a sheet, but of course you can also embed a single chart. Like this. And if we make the screen smaller, as you can see, the chart updates accordingly. So it always looks nice. So your developers don't have to worry about those things. That saves you a lot of time. Okay, let's go to the next one. It's called the Mashup Editor. The Mashup Editor helps you to create code which you can embed into your web page. So I create a new mashup. Here I select a very simple mashup template just to give you a feeling of how it works. So it doesn't distract with a lot of bootstrap code, for example. So here you can see the placeholders. I select an app, the Runkeeper dashboard again, and now I can drag and drop individual objects into the sheet. Now maybe I don't like it, so I can change it a bit. This is HTML. HTML has placeholders for your divs. So this is normally something your IT department supplies. This is the look and feel of your website, and you just want to have Qlik Sense on specific locations on your page. And the JavaScript is really the interactivity between your page and Qlik Sense. So this is JavaScript. We connect to some Qlik Sense host. We open the app with a specific ID, and as you saw, I don't need to code this. Qlik Sense generates this for me. And for each placeholder, for example in placeholder 1, we include a specific Qlik Sense chart ID. And this all has been generated by me. If I now preview, you can see I have a mashup that's fully interactive. So this related to web integration using div tags. If you create your own page, I already showed you how you can make a selection, but here you can see the deep dive code. Again, we connect to Qlik Sense, and in the end you connect to an app with a specific ID, and using this API call, you select, for example, if you want to make a selection on last name, select the value Jones, and then the embedded Qlik Sense sheet will only show values for Jones. This is a summary of how to embed Qlik Sense using a div tag. What I showed you before. In placeholder div1, we want to embed this chart ID. This is a complete overview of the interactivity. So your website contains HTML, CSS and JavaScript, and the JavaScript of your web page communicates with Qlik Sense via the virtual proxy to the engine. You open a specific app, and here you can choose whether you want to embed an existing Qlik Sense chart, create a new one on the fly, or only get the data like we do here in the slide generator. Because the power of Qlik Sense is really the associative model and the engine. Basically what I did in this presentation is I loaded all my data into one app, and I don't need to worry about joins or queries, etc. I can just say, hey, give me all the topics about security, or give me all the topics about web integration. I have 1 hour time and I'm getting started. And Qlik Sense combines all the relevant data and shows you the result without you having to wait. So, next to using an IFrame or div tag, we can also create charts on the fly. That basically means you load your data inside an app, and in your web page you can just say, hey, I want to have a line chart with the sum of sales per country, and here I would like to have a bar chart. So normally you would create an app, load the data and create the charts and then put it online. In this case you can just load the data inside an app and create the charts on the fly using some JavaScript. That's what we see here. So this is the end result, the bar chart. And this is the JavaScript code to do it. Create a bar chart, sum of sales per country. When the data is ready, show the chart inside your div. Of course, you can also go to the web page again. And here you see the same code and the end result. If you'd like to see more information on how we do it, and technical information, we have a link to the visualization API. And here you can see more deep dive information. Also, we included the JS Fiddle, the online training environment, same methodology. In your HTML you have a div with a specific ID placeholder. You connect to your Qlik Sense host, open the app, create a bar chart, and here you see the end result. Again, using CSS you can make the screen bigger. If you run it, your bar chart is bigger, but we only have a limited set of values, so it won't populate everything. We don't have more countries. Okay. Let's say you have your own visualization. You have your own software to do the visualizations, and you only would like to use the data out of Qlik Sense. That's basically also what I did with the slide generator, because Qlik Sense has sheets and charts, for example, but you can't make slides with it. So I created my own HTML and JavaScript and used the Qlik engine to supply me the data. That's what I call the data-only use case. For example, this chart has been made using Chart.js. This is not the Qlik Sense chart. It's an external library called Chart.js. But I only use the data out of Qlik Sense to populate this chart. Again, you connect to the Qlik Sense app, and I would like to create a data table with the sum of sales per country. When the table is ready, you supply it to your favorite library, and you have the data. And the cool thing is that all the things are automatically connected in Qlik Sense. So if you make a selection, for example on Australia, again here we embed a Qlik Sense using an iframe. If we go back here, this chart has been updated only for Australia. So this is not a Qlik Sense chart, but Qlik Sense, the associative model, ensures that all the things are related to each other. So I didn't need to program anything. It happens out of the box using simple code. Again, more information is available here. So if you like to see a real example where we combined, we created the city bike demo. On this page, you will see a web page. This is not Qlik Sense. It's a web page with a logo, an HTML menu bar, and you can do some analysis. Maybe you want to see the impact, what happens if you give a certain amount of discount to our customers. And you can see the effect per country, by education, and by product line. Because all the data is loaded into one model, it's very easy to calculate things in Qlik Sense. You don't need to combine things. It happens automatically for you. Here we show that using some simple bootstrap, we can create our own menu bar. So this is an example where we just loaded an array of fields and we present it in our own way. We even changed the colors of Qlik Sense. Also, if you like to make a pop-up with a map, here we use some bootstrap to create a pop-up with the sales. By the way, for the technical people, you can always press F12 in your browser, go to the console and see the raw data coming in. So this slide generator actually uses an array of data, which you can see here. So this is a slide. I created this layout myself using some JavaScript and HTML. This is, for example, the title of the slide. And here you can see the subheader. So in the end, it's just raw data. And I visualize it using my own JavaScript or HTML or whatever you guys would like to use. So when you use the data-only approach, well, if you have your own visualization software and you would like to use that, but you don't have to. Like we started simple, we started with an iframe, we embedded the complete Qlik Sense hub, that's possible. So users can create their apps using the Qlik Sense client. Then we showed you how you can embed Qlik Sense using a div-tag. You can embed sheets or charts or whatever you like. But there are still Qlik Sense charts. But if you would like to have your own visualization software, it's also possible. Then you just use the data out of Qlik Sense. So here again, a summary. If you only use the data out of Qlik Sense, you will get an array of data which looks like JSON. So here, for example, use an API call to get the data out of Qlik Sense. In this case, we requested a list of apps. So here you can see the name of the app, or you can see the app ID and the name. Then use your own JavaScript to visualize it. This is an example of the table API, which you just saw before. I'm not going to go into detail here, but please go to integration.qlik.com and you can look at it at your own pace. Now we're going to look at extensions. With extensions, you can extend the functionality which you can find in Qlik Sense out of the box. So, for example, you can create a heat map, a tree map, a bullet chart, or whatever you like. I recommend that you go to branch.qlik.com, go to projects, Qlik Sense, and here you can see all the extensions. For example, Sankey chart, or the integration.qlik.com demo site is all available online. So this web page is available on GitHub, so you can download the complete code and use it. And you can see, for example, new buttons to create a sheet, or there's a lot of stuff over here. Scatter plots, toolings. As you can see, there are a lot of people creating software to extend Qlik Sense. So let's have a look at another example. This, for example, a marketing web page. These are out of the box Qlik Sense charts, but here you can see people use their own JavaScript to create new KPI objects with some logos. So the data and the charts originate from Qlik Sense, but the whole look and feel is different. Different region, I want to see different KPIs, etc., etc. If you'd like to see more examples, you can always go to the web page. Here you'll find multiple use cases on how to embed Qlik Sense. You select the embed Qlik Sense use case, and under external examples you have a link to branch and more demo apps. This is another example. This chart is not part of Qlik Sense, but they use JavaScript to create their own visualization. Here are some new selection mechanisms. This is, for example, an extension. This is a normal table. Okay. If you'd like to have more information on how you can embed Qlik Sense, please go to integration.qlik.com, and here we explain how you, for example, can embed Qlik Sense into your architecture, how you can set up the security, do web integration. We have videos about it. Or, as I showed you before, you can go to the slide generator. And select whatever you like. So now we know what we've done here. So here you can see a web page. This is not Qlik Sense, this is a web page. I embedded a Qlik Sense sheet using an IFrame. So this happens out of the box. Let's say I'm an expert and I want to know more about security. I now use the APIs to get the data out of Qlik Sense, and I present it into my own way. And here, for example, we have a presentation about how you can set up Qlik Sense security. On the other hand, it shows you the power of the APIs, because I've loaded all my data into an app. If you would like to learn more about security, as you can see, Qlik Sense helps me with the search. So I select subject area security, and now I have 100 slides about security with Qlik Sense. So if you have a question, just look here, make your search. For example, does Qlik Sense support SAML? As you see, Qlik Sense helps you search. This is really the power of Qlik Sense. So you can embed our hub, sheets or charts, but as you can see here, I use the APIs to get data out of Qlik Sense and completely create my own front end. So based on the user that logs in, I can present him the information that he needs based on his authorizations. Okay, this concludes this session. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye bye.